do see good in everything, don't you? That's one way of looking at the world. When I look at the world, you know what I see? Hell. There's nothing good out there, man. Nothing good at all. Well, I guess that's the difference between you and me. I was a little boy. Old man always used to say, life's just one big system, kid. You fit in, and it'll treat you alright.
Heard this nigga a warlock. He went to war before cops. 5 had 2 clips, took on 4 blocks, took backward breaks, came back with more shots, kicking the door. Look, nigga, you need more locks. Handsome thug, you liable to get your whore knocked.
It's your boy, Nathan Williams, Nasty Nate. That's my fight name. Nasty Nate _MMA is my Instagram. Nate Williams, I think, is my Facebook. You just see a nice little dapper young gentleman on my profile picture. That's me. But 30 years old, just hit 30 actually Wednesday, the Dirty 30. So you already know it's going down, definitely. Not even in my prime yet. Man, man, not even far off track. But Stone Mountain, Georgia, of course. Not born, but definitely raised in Stone Mountain. Born in Peoria, Illinois. Not many people even know where Peoria is. So I usually say Chicago, just to sound cool, because I say Peoria and people are like, where is that at? So just to exclude that whole conversation, I usually say Chicago, but I was born in Peoria. Moved down here when I was 2. So moved to Stone Mountain actually when I was 2, right off South Harrison. Me and my parents, we got our apartments right there, Hidden Point in South Harrison. So I've been in Stone Mountain literally since I was 2 years old. Graduated from Stone Mountain High School, class of 05, always the best class. If you check class of 05 right now, even now, some of the best athletes, some of the best politicians, some of the people that are doing major things in the community, major things in society are class of 05. So, I mean, you ain't got to believe me, just Google it. Just Google it. But class of 2005, graduated from Savannah State University with my bachelor's in English language and literature, December 2011. So, you know, I took the 5.5 year route, you know, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means I stumbled a little bit along the way, but I found my way, you know what I'm saying? So I did finish up with my degree, taught 6th grade language arts for 2 years. It wasn't really my thing. And but I love the kids. It wasn't the kids. It was just it's the cliche. Teachers don't make enough money, and they don't for what they're required, what they're expected to do, what's expected from them. What you have to do, you have to be a disciplinarian. You have to be a parent. I mean, not a parent, but a parent for those 8 hours. You have to be a friend. You have to be a counselor. And then also on top of all of those things, then they want you to teach. So I mean, teaching is a lot. And I also have the passion of fighting. I mean, that's why I got into fighting, because ever since I was little, I watched 3 Ninjas, Ninja Turtles, X-Men. If it was something with combat, something with fighting, that was my MO. I wanted to be a ninja. When people was asking me what you want to be when you grow up, it wasn't a football player. Most of the time, it wasn't. I wanted to be a ninja. I got to do more than just be the average person. I mean, I got a type A personality. I'm a Leo, so I'm obligated to have a type A personality. And I mean, you believe it or not, I tried to be a Navy SEAL like 5 times. I mean, from like swimming, me and Jermaine used to swim 6,400 yards 3 days a week, to hundreds of pull-ups and sit-ups, and I was running, and everything I talked about was military-wise, and it just the way things happen, the way things works. I mean, the man above, that wasn't my plan. That wasn't what he had planned for me. And then I want to do something still competitive, because like I said, I had that competitive edge. So I actually started boxing. I actually tried boxing at Decatur Boxing Gym. I hit my boy Jermaine up. He was training. He was actually boxing at the time himself. He had a couple amateur fights. And I was just like, yo, Jermaine, what you're doing, I think is dope. Combat, not every person jumps into combat, but everybody respects it because, you know what I'm saying, it's fighting. So I was like, man, it's dope. Let me come see what you're about. Let me be a part. We started at Decatur Boxing Gym. We were actually training at the Decatur Boxing Gym for like 4 or 5 months. Just boxing, just 3 days a week. I would come 6 o'clock in the morning before I would go to work. I would have to be at work at 10. I would be at Jermaine's gym at 6:30, 6 o'clock. We'd get our boxing workout in with some of the other members in the class, and you know what I'm saying. And I just told him, I was like, man, I want to be, you know what I'm saying, I got an aspiration to be a professional boxer. And that's when Jermaine was like, nah, man. He was like, you wrestled all these years in high school and college, and you had actually success at it. So I think boxing would be actually hindering you. You taken away from your strongest suit is wrestling. He was like, you might as well pursue MMA, and you can box and use your wrestling. And I was like, man, that's smart. You know what I'm saying? Because my mindset was Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather making all this money. But MMA, even at the time, this was, I think, like 2011, MMA, even at the time, wasn't as big as it is even now. So, I mean, even now, MMA is like, it's still on the rise, but it's huge. So now, I really thank Jermaine for steering me right in this direction, because now my wrestling is what people are afraid of when it comes. Now I can box. My boxing is really good now, but my wrestling is what people are really afraid of. I mean, so Jermaine, I appreciate you. Shout out Fighter for Life. You supported me through this fight, sponsoring me now. I've always been rocking your brand, the hats you've seen me wear. So, I mean, just, you know. But that's me in a nutshell, Nasty Nate. Like I said, that's what started me fighting. That's why I started MMA, and now I'm the professional featherweight champ of Georgia, 4-2 as a pro. 4-0 at the weight class of 145. I'm 0-2 at 155. Just not even took tough fights. It was just, I really just beat myself. A lot of times it's not about the opponent, but the opponent is actually yourself. And in my earlier fights, I was never beaten by my opponent. I just beat myself, and you know that caused to take some of the losses that I took, especially this last loss. Bad weight cuts. One of my losses came from just cutting weight terribly. Weight cut is a big integral part of fighting, especially in mixed martial arts. Not so much in boxing. Boxing does have an element of cutting weight to it, but it's more regulated. It's more, people are more consistent with it. But
what you got to lose again for your fight?
32
more pounds?
Yeah, fighting at 45. Weighed only 65 this morning. I'm trying to be at least 62 today. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, 61.
161? We at the same weight right now.
Yeah.
161.2.
We'll go ahead and say 0.2.
Well, here you go, point on.
Okay. Tomorrow night, I'm gonna be like 156. But so by the time I finish training tomorrow night, I'm gonna be like 156. And then by the time I finish training Wednesday, Lord willing, I'll be like 150, 149. That's like amazing. And then Thursday, I wake up, cut the last pound. I only gotta be 147. I get plus 2. So cut the last 2, and then we'll be there. So the weight cut struggle, the weight cut battle, but it's all worth it in the end when I get my hand raised on Friday nights. Right. So it's all for it. One step closer to the UFC. So cutting weight is like important to fighting, and just my first loss, I didn't have it down pat. Of course, I wrestled, and since me being a wrestler, we cut weight. But I was in high school then when I wrestled, so I wasn't like as knowledgeable on cutting weight. So I kind of did things like starving myself, eating chips, and just things that weren't conducive to cutting weight, weren't conducive to athletics. And I did the same thing when I fought in Mississippi, getting ready for my first time ever making 145 as an amateur. I cut weight the day before, 3 days before. The only thing I would eat after a hard training session was a bag of Doritos and a Powerade. I mean, just so saying myself so my weight wouldn't jump up. So I mean, yeah, I definitely learned from that, because that fight, going into that fight, I broke my nose, fractured my cheekbones in 2 places. I had to have surgery. I had to have 4 blood transfusions. I now have a titanium plate in my nose that connects from here to here, and it crosses over to my cheekbones. So I mean, I definitely learned a lot from that fight, from that whole experience. Just the terrible weight cut, just being ill prepared for the fight. That I got a scar that always reminds me, don't eat trash and keep your hands up. So I mean, it definitely made me a stronger fighter. That definitely made me a stronger fighter, because if I wouldn't have gone through that experience, then I probably would still be doing the same things I was doing then. And that's just doing things terribly. That's not doing things, especially now as I'm a pro, not doing things the professional way. Just doing things, just kind of taking the sport. I took the sport seriously, but I didn't live the serious lifestyle. I mean, I did everything else as far as, you know, watching, training all the time, working out. That was never a problem, but eating the right things and you know, like I said, cutting weight and doing all those, I had to learn that aspect of being a professional. So that definitely taught me a lot. All these experiences helped me for Friday night, because Friday night, you're never gonna see me quit. I quit even as a pro. I shame myself. I quit my first loss as a pro. I was dominating the fight. The first round, they don't even do this low, but the commentator even said it should be a 10-7 round, 10-6 round. Second round I came out, I was dominating the fight again up until I took him down, gave into fatigue a little bit. I wasn't tired because I was in fairly decent shape, not as in good shape as I am now, but I was in fairly decent shape, so I wasn't as tired as I was making, as my mind was making it to seem. I got caught in a choke and I panicked. I panicked and I tapped. I didn't even make an attempt to defend the choke. Like I said, I'm a very high level belt in jiu-jitsu, so I mean, even trying to defend the choke is first grade jiu-jitsu, and I didn't even try to defend the choke. I just panicked and tapped. So this made me, this whole experience has now made me stronger. It's made my mind stronger. It's gave me determination. It's gave me the will to never quit. It's gave me to look adversity in the eye and flick it away and fight right through it, because going through a situation when you can't breathe and you feel like you're on your last breath, and being able to fight through that, and being able to have the heart, have the will to not quit, and the guts to be able to drive through and push through and just and muscle up and man up and persevere. I mean, that comes out the most in those type of situations. And before, I actually wasn't even able to look at myself in the mirror after that fight, when I quit. His name was John Cobb, and I quit. Just that I learned so much from that. So in this fight this weekend, you won't see me quit. You're going to see me go. He's going to have to, literally, he's going to have to kill me to beat me. He's going to have to kill me. He's going to have to render me unconscious, break my arm, tear my neck off for me to stop, because I'm not quitting. I got my son. It's going to be a war. See, there we go. Like I said, I'm an English major, so when we come to words and wordplay, and you gotta be careful when we say war, because when we say war, yeah, we can go to war, and yeah, in past wars, there has been wars, and war is just a battle between two people. But at the same time, when you imply war in fighting, people think, oh, it's gonna be fight of the night, it's gonna be fight of the year, it's gonna be, oh, he was hitting me and I was hitting him, and it was a point, like I said once before, it was a point it looked like time was I was winning the fight. It's the point in time it looked like he was winning the fight. But be careful when you say war, because this won't be a war. I'm going into combat, I'm going into battle, but this won't be a war, because he has no chance. This is like Genghis Khan coming in to slay the millions and millions of civilizations he's slain. Yeah, this is a massacre. I am going to dominate this man. I'm going to beat this man so bad, he is going to wish that he would have never taken this fight. He's going to rethink his career and be like, man, I need to watch the tough fights I take if I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to get to, because that Nate was not a smart fight. It's going to be a war, but it won't be fight of the year. It won't be fight of the night. It's your boy, Nasty Nate Williams, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Like I said, growing up, all my life experiences, everything I've been through the fights, through just all the adversity has really made me fight, not for my life per se, but fight to keep my life in track, to keep my life where I want to go. So I'm definitely fighting for life. It made me a fighter for life, and shout out to Fighter for Life sponsorship. It's my brand, my boy Jermaine Burgess. Shout out to onmyhiphop-ish.com. Check him out. Great interview, great brother to work with. Expect some big things from us in the future, because this is only the beginning. Shout out to Stone Mountain. Shout out to X3. Shout out to my gym. Shout out to Tony Tucci, Mike Luttrell, Gabriel Katiba, all those people putting this together. And let's get it, man. Friday, it's going down. Nasty Nate.
You really do see good in everything, don't you? That's why my look at the world. When I look at the world, you know what I see? Hell. There's nothing good out there, man. Nothing good at all. that's the difference between you and me. When I was a little boy, old man always used to say, life's just one big system, kid. You fit in, and it'll treat you alright.
Heard this nigga a warlock, he went to war before cops. A 2-5, had 2 clips, took on 4 blocks. Took backward breaks, came back with more shots.
I look at the world through a king's eyes.